Kia ora, good evening. Production at the Tiwai aluminium smelter is being cut by 5%. New Zealand Aluminium Smelters today announced it's begun reducing its electricity load due to extremely low hydro lake levels. The decision is expected to reduce production capacity by approximately 400 tonnes a week, which is 5% of total production. General Manager Ryan Kavanagh says the company is working closely with Meridian Energy to help conserve storage in the South Island hydro lakes. He says the company is working to minimise any adverse impact to production schedules. Southland is in the midst of a dry spell of a magnitude seen only once every 10 to 15 years in the region. Although faring better than much of the country, the province is unusually dry for this time of year and has had just a seventh of normal rainfall for March. Sarah Bedford spoke to 45 South Weather Service meteorologist Andy Fraser about how bad the situation is.
We're almost in a drought as far as this coastal and perhaps central parts of Southland are concerned. We don't have widespread dieback of grass, but certainly the grasslands are getting very stressed. You go into northern Southland and any point in New Zealand north of that, they are definitely in a drought. For example, the west coast, I believe, they've never recorded a dry spell like they've got now, where they've had, I think, less than 1.0 millimetre of rain in Hokitika, for example, over 29 days. This is unprecedented for a place that normally gets 200 plus mils a month.
Now for Southland, what's actually caused these conditions?
Well, the whole of New Zealand has been covered by a huge anticyclone over the last 4 weeks. That anticyclone had actually been hanging in around the North Island for a lot longer period than that. And while we had some rain in the end of the first week in February and the second week in February, from that point in time on, the high kind of expanded entirely. Just a big, slow-moving high, didn't allow any weather systems to come through the Tasman Sea onto us. None of the tropical lows have been able to come down onto the North Island, so it's just been one big block over the entire country.
How unusual would it be for us here in Southland to go into a drought or such a dry period at this time of year?
It's not that common because our wettest months are actually March, April, May and June. If you look back on average, those are our 4 wettest months of the year. We did, however, have quite a dry autumn for a period of autumn last year, but on average, no. The driest periods of weather actually occur in very late winter and spring, where our rainfalls tend to be lower, but people don't notice them because it's cool and there's very little evaporation. But we're going to break this drought shortly anyway, we hope.
So tell me, when do you think that we will actually come out of this drought?
It's all starting to happen on the western side of the Tasman Sea now and well north of New Zealand. One front is expected to move on to the lower South Island late Thursday or Friday morning, give some scattered rain. Ex-tropical cyclone Sandra, I think it is, coming down into the Tasman, is going to combine with another front just west of New Zealand during Sunday. That whole system is expected to produce rain probably over the whole of the country to some extent or the other, including Southland. If I was to be asked how much rain are we likely to get Sunday through to Tuesday, I would suspect Southland could easily get 15 to 20 mils of rain over that 3-day period. So here's hoping.
Now we are under fire ban and water restrictions. Will the rain that we're forecast to get be enough to get us out of those?
I don't think you'll see a fire restrictions lifted very quickly because if we were to get 20 mils of rain followed by 7 more days of sun and a wee bit of breeze, it wouldn't take long to dry back out again. As regarding water restrictions, well, 20 mils would definitely help stop the rivers lowering any further, but you'd probably see water restrictions carrying on for a wee way. If that rainfall was to turn into 50 mils in the headwaters of the river, then it may well change things, but don't expect any dramatic changes, I think, in restrictions and fire bans.
Invercargill City Council set up shop in Esk Street today asking ratepayers for feedback on multi-million-dollar plans to upgrade the city's central business district. The one-day workshop was held to ask for residents' feedback and to get ideas about everyday issues including safety, landmarks, open spaces and seating. Halfway through today's workshop, hundreds of people had been through. Pocock Environmental Design has developed a preliminary design of the upgrade, and Director Craig Pocock says among common themes raised, car parking, loss of retail in the main street and the location of the city's eyesight. Russell Pearson of Invercargill City Council explains the next steps.
At the end of this week, what we intend to do is to gather all these ideas, and our consultant Craig Pocock will go away and he'll develop a concept plan that'll be delivered to us around the end of June, and from that we will then have a much more firmer idea of what the public is telling us, and we'll be able to select those areas, then develop a much more detailed plan and then start potentially some of the construction after some more consultation of those ideas later in the year.
So in terms of the time frame, when could we see work start and potentially finish as well?
I guess the first stage will be, in fact, to actually know what we're going to do, and then we will select some of the projects. One of the things Craig will deliver in his report is a priority, so we'll be able to prioritise what's going to give us the best outcome, and then the council and the community will be able to select which ones they want to push forth first.
Now, in terms of costs, what's it going to cost?
Well, at the moment we have a budget of around $6.5 million, and that's a little bit, I guess, sort of from the outline planner, a bit of a first estimate. So this process actually will define that and redefine that a lot more. We'll be able to get the quantity of seats and paving and features we want. So we'll be able to, I guess, pick and choose what we can actually afford or what we want. I guess if it's less than that's fine. If it's got to be more, then there's going to be more consultation.
Coming up after the break, a new animal ark is a step closer for the SPCA. Welcome back. A review of operations at Invercargill Library is continuing with the future uncertain for staff. A restructure was announced in November, with services being looked at due to changes in technology and library lending trends. The Public Services Association says it's working to ensure the focus remains on aligning roles to meet services within the new digital environment and not on cost cutting. Library and Archives Manager Marianne Foster says the review has been a difficult process for everyone involved, and she's pleased it's coming to an end. She says no redundancies are expected. Construction of the Southland SPCA's new animal shelter is set to start in a few months. The site of the new state-of-the-art facility at Wood End has been marked out and consent applications are being filed with the Invercargill City Council. The $1.9 million animal ark will meet current capacity with some room for growth. Southland Animal Ark Committee co-chair Donna McIntyre says it's just a matter of time before the first sod is turned. Ms McIntyre says one small concession has been made to get the project through the building phase.
What we've done is, in order to get started this year, was that we are not going to tar seal the car park and driveway. That saves us the thousands that we needed to be fully funded to proceed now.
So this is a state-of-the-art building, future-proof. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's future-proofed in fact that we have, we've got the Calder Stewart solar panel roof, which will be very exciting. It will keep power bills down and start giving payback at some stage in the future. All the materials used in the building are animal proof, the best quality animal product proof materials we could find that, you know, can withstand weeing and scratching and aroma, that kind of thing as well. So it's certainly built to last, built for the future, built with the animals in mind and the human beings that look after them as well.
So is there further education for the public coming out of this?
I think so. We've got a room in the building which will enable us to do some more on-site education, which is always a really good opportunity, and hopefully it'll become an area for fundraising as well to keep the building going.
A proposal by New Zealand Post could see the country's mail delivery cut from 6 days a week to 3, affecting over 2,000 posties and over 700 rural post contractors. We asked the people on the streets of Invercargill for their thoughts on reduced mail delivery.
Disappointing, like everything. Everybody's cutting back, very disappointing.
I think it's ridiculous, but it goes along with a lot of other things that are happening in this country, the current time. And I don't know what we can do about it either. But I think it's a crime, yeah.
Oh, very bad. Very bad. It's absolutely essential. They should keep the whole thing going. You know, we're gradually closing it down. I don't know what for. No one is benefiting from it.
I don't know if it would worry me too much, really. You know, we just get... Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of emails and we don't get a lot of mail. Like we do get, we can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. It doesn't really, no big dramas, so yeah.
What are your thoughts about New Zealand Post cutting their delivery days in half?
Yeah, I think, why not? Yeah. We can manage mail every second day, no worries.
I don't know why, to be honest. It's like, what if it's important? I don't know. I think keep it the way it is.
Yeah, I think that's fine, as long as the posties don't get less pay for double work. That's the only problem. But I don't think there's the amount of mail going out to justify 7 or 6 days a week.
It actually doesn't really bother me too much, to be honest. I don't think it'll affect me that much at all.
What about people that expect parcels? I do a lot of trade me things, if I reduce down to 3 days a week. As it is, sometimes they come late, so it makes it come even later. Instead of, 3 days late, it's going to be 6, 7. So yeah, it's a bit of a hassle really.
I think that would be absolutely shocking because, the people that are depending on medication and that in the rural areas, they're going to suffer. And no, I don't think it's very good really, because some people rely on the mail.
The work of 2 founding board members of a health and social service centre for youth was recognised in Invercargill today. An open day was held at the Youth One Stop Shop number 10 this afternoon to recognise the efforts of outgoing board members Jan Pfeiffer and Murray Withford. The pair have been involved with the service since its inception around 5 years ago, with the centre set up after the need for more health and social services was identified. The open day was held to recognise their efforts and for people to call in and see the services offered for Southland youth. Coming up in sport, we go on board the Spirit of New Zealand in port in Bluff recently. That's after the weather next. From the news team, good night.